Okay, so I was talking with a friend the other day, and we were talking about how you get points evenly on a quilt. So like where two pieces of fabric that have seams intersect, and get those seams to come point to point exactly so that you don't have overlap, which is something that you want for a lot of projects, especially if you do any type of quilting. If you look at this is exactly what I'm talking about. Do you see these, how all of those points line up exactly like that? So there is a trick to this. What you're going to want is a straight pin that's kind of long, but the thinner the pin, and there's some different brands out there that are a little bit better than others, but for the seams, when you're pinning together two pieces in order to get those points to come together exactly like that, you really want a thin straight pin. So like this one here, I don't know if you can see that very well. These are little, the glass head. I just like those because they don't have to be glass head. I just like them because if my iron hits it, it doesn't melt the top. But the little glass head straight pins, and I don't actually remember what brand these are, but you can find thin straight pins at Joann's or just about any notions type store. So what I'm going to do is take two pieces here. I'm going to try to show you how you line these up. So I've got these, and I'm going to or here, sorry, I actually want to put these together. These two pieces of fabric, so you want to intersect them. It's going to look like this is the goal. So the first thing that you do is, do you see these seams back here? So on one side it's pressed to the right, and on this front piece it's pressed to the left. Do you see that? So the goal to get this to be a good point when you're done sewing it is you just want to match these up. So I'm going to work my fabric together with my nails, just kind of massage it. Did you see that? Can you see this here? How those are just butted up together. They're real flat. So you want to butt those pieces up in a little sandwich like that, and then you want to take your straight pin and run it, and this is why you don't want a thick fat pin. Some of the kinds that you can get that are kind of cheap, like at Walmart or whatever, kind of have a big gauge to the actual pin. Do you see that? And so like it doesn't make it shift as much when you shove it through that seam like that. So if you have a skinny one, it's really better if you can get a fine gauge straight pin. So if you really don't want them to move, really you should do both of them like that. And then depending on how big my piece is, sometimes I'll put a piece down here to just, when I start, not always, but the bigger the piece is, I definitely do it. These tiny ones, sometimes I just hang on to them and kind of deal with it and whatnot, but I'll put one over here too to kind of keep this so it doesn't shift on me, to keep these points together. So you see that? So it's like right through those seams. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm going to, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this very well on my machine, I'm going to sew this. Okay. No back stitch required because this is actually for a quilt. So as you get near it, never sew over a pin. You don't want to do that. Here, I've got that flipped up. Pull them out. It'll bend your pins. Plus, you could end up breaking your needle and having pieces of that go in places that you don't want it. So I wouldn't recommend sewing over pins. I have on accident before, but I really try not to sew over my pins. I know it's fun to be lazy and sew over them, but it's really not a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out for the grand reveal here. Okay. Ta-da! you see the points? So just press it. I mean, press the seam to one side. As you go along, just keep pressing your seams to one side. So when I go to do the next thing, if I've got to line up any seams, I'm going to use these seams that I've pressed as a guide if I've got to butt another seam piece up to this. But yeah, that's all you do. The trick is all in the pinning. So good luck.